Estonian Foreign Minister Margus Skana visited his Polish counterpart Radosław Sikorski in Warsaw today. The two ministers called on continued financial and military support for Ukraine as the United States discusses a Senate vote to support a bill envisaging $95 billion in aid for Ukraine and other allies. They added that their countries were doing their part and they expect the United States to do the same. Funding is critical for Kiev's ability to repeat Russian attacks and keep its battered economy going as the war nears its third year. The United States bill is yet to be voted on in the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, where it has faced long opposition.
But I think that whatever Trump says, we have to understand that we have to put our part. And Estonia is putting this year 3.2% of GDP to NATO, and also Poland is putting 3% or even more with the extra fundings. So we invest to our defense to be ready. And I'm sure that the US will remain our strong ally in NATO as well.
United States President Joe Biden has been pushing for months for the package, which also includes security funding for Israel and Taiwan and humanitarian aid for the Palestinians. He has faced opposition from the Republican hardliners, particularly those most closely aligned with former President Donald Trump. Backers of the aid have been warily watching Trump's reaction. He has criticised the aid on social media, saying it should take the form of a loan, and also worried United States allies by suggesting he could encourage aggression against some NATO members.
NATO to nie firma ochroniarska.
NATO is not a security company. Article 5 was used for the first time in favour of the United States after the terrorist attacks of the 11th of September. Poland sent troops to Afghanistan, and we did not send an invoice to Washington for these troops and the lives of our soldiers.
Do Afganistanu.
Trump in recent days has drawn scorn from Biden and top Western officials after he suggested the United States might not protect NATO allies who aren't spending enough on defence from a potential Russian invasion. Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania issued diplomatic protests on Wednesday to Moscow after Russian police put leading Baltic politicians on a wanted list over the destruction of Soviet-era monuments. The three Baltic states were once ruled from Moscow but are now members of the European Union and NATO, and since the Russian invasion in Ukraine have emerged as staunch supporters of Ukraine and vocal critics of Russia. Estonia's Prime Minister Kaja Kallas and State Secretary Taimar Peterkop were both on the police wanted list, as were Lithuanian Culture Minister Simonas Kairis and some 60 current and former members of Latvia's parliament, according to Russia. Russian state agency TASS said on Tuesday that the Baltic officials were accused of destroying monuments to Soviet soldiers, acts that are punishable by a 5-year prison term under the Russian criminal code. Estonia, in a statement, said its diplomats had expressed indignation and demanded an explanation from the Kremlin. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs also notified the representative of Russia that these steps by the Russian state will not stop us from doing the right thing, and Estonia will not change its resolute support for Ukraine, the statement said.